the world's changed.
The Dan Yorke State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
I don't know. I'm kind of on extra time with my car. It's nice to have a car that you don't have a payment for, right? You know, and I still think it's the fastest car I've ever driven. So I got 107,000 miles on it. And I'm thinking, I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 35, minus 20, 23. I don't know how many more years, but I, like many of you, are deciding, the next car purchase, is it all gas? Is it a hybrid? Is it electric? Do I want to plug in the garage? What if I drive to New York and I pull over in Stamford and I need to plug in? Is that going to take me 2 years? I mean, this is a whole thing, but guess what? The manufacturers of vehicles have decided that self-imposed by 2035-ish, plus or minus a couple of years, they're going all EV. That's the term, electric vehicles. So the DEM, our Department of Environmental Management, has an overriding piece of legislation that enables them to call the shots here, and now has determined, as you're going to learn in this package and from the director, who's my guest tonight, that by 2035, all new car sales in Rhode Island have to be electric. Here's a headline that kind of reflects on it. And I think we have a headline that's going to reflect on it. If we don't, we might as well run the story that reflects on it. At your leisure. There you go. Rhode Island leaders want to end sale of new gas-powered vehicles by 2035, and here's the story.
DEM is going to move forward and adopt the advanced clean cars and advanced clean truck rules.
According to the DEM, Rhode Island will join the wave of states phasing out the sale of new gasoline-powered cars by 2035.
There's not enough supply to meet the demand for EVs in Rhode Island.
Putting the Ocean State in the front seat to ensure electric vehicles currently being manufactured make it here for sale, which in turn, according to Amanda Vanderspeck from Green Energy Consumers Alliance, will bring more used EVs to the market.
Will help us build out the robust market for used EVs that we need. Since we know that a huge number of people never purchase new cars, we really need electric vehicles to make it into the used car market.
According to the DEM, roughly 40% of greenhouse gases generated across the state come from transportation, which is the leading cause of carbon pollution.
This will do is it only affects manufacturers, making sure that all Rhode Islanders have access to them.
Right now, the state has roughly 7,600 electric vehicles on the road. By 2027, the first year Rhode Island would begin enforcing this, 43% of all new cars and trucks sold in the state would need to be electric or hydrogen powered. But for those who don't want to get behind electric vehicles, don't worry. Vanderspeck says gas-powered cars aren't going anywhere.
Not prevent anybody from buying, selling, or driving a gas car. It, again, just make sure that Rhode Islanders have access to the full range of options.
All right, you know what? The package, I guess, is semi-succinct, but still raises a lot of questions for people. The director of the Department of Environmental Management, Terrence Gray, is with us. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming.
Thank you for having me on.
This your bright idea?
Yes and no.
You know, people out there want to know who to blame for the aggravation, and based on the talk radio lines last week when I talked about this after your excellent spokesman Mike Healy was informing me about the nuances, this is a split reaction. People have almost visceral reactions to this. So there's always somebody looking for somebody to blame. I'm having fun with it. What's the executive summary on what we're looking at here?
So Dan, the executive summary starts back in 2021. And in 2021, the legislature passed the Act on Climate. Governor McKee signed it into law. And what that did was it put Rhode Island on a course to really lower our greenhouse gas emissions. So we really started to drill into where those emissions are coming from and what plans we could implement to meet the mandate in that state law. And like the piece said, we found out that 40% of our emissions come from vehicles. So that's a big chunk. And
that's not exclusive to Rhode Island.
No,
we have the same area everybody else does.
That's about the national average.
Is our congestion impacting that? I mean, small state, 50 long, 35 miles wide, that kind of thing?
The congestion creates hotspots, but overall, I think that's pretty consistent with what we've seen nationally as well.
Okay.
So we looked at some of the opportunities that we had, and one opportunity was to develop these regulations in coordination with Mass and Connecticut, Vermont, New York, New Jersey, and create kind of a regional market for electric vehicles. And that's the direction that we've gone, and we think that's going to get us a long way towards meeting our targets and reducing our transportation emissions.
Mass is there, Connecticut's not, but everyone's kind of hovering around the same kind of legislative process or regulatory process.
Yeah, it's a regulatory
timetable.
process. Mass is already there, New York is already there. New Jersey, Connecticut are right with us. They're not quite at the same place, but all of the states are trying to target their individual rulemaking to either take effect for the 2026 or 2027 model years.
Okay, so I'm talking 2035, and you guys are talking 2026, 27. So tell me what the phase thing is about.
It phases in, so it starts at 43% for model year 2027, and then ramps right up to 100% of new cars by 2035.
But Terry, who's got the onus here? In other words, it's going to be about inventory, market inventory, right? So you're regulating the dealerships, or advising the dealerships, or advising the manufacturers that they've got to send X number of proportionate inventory to the state. That 40% of what you send to X dealership has got to be electric. Well, all electric by 27, and then you got to grow that. Is that what it is?
We're going all the way upstream. So we are regulating the auto manufacturers, and we're making sure that Rhode Island auto dealerships and Rhode Island customers have the inventory of EVs that they need. It requires the manufacturers to deliver those cars to Rhode Island.
What if I'm customer X? I guess this is, I don't know. Dealership only has X amount of vehicles at 38, 39, 40%. I don't want an electric vehicle in 2027. I want an all gas powered vehicle. Are they going to look to me and say, sorry, sir, we've got a quota? We've topped out on our all gas sales by this point, so you've got to revisit what you want, or how does that go?
I think the dealers will still have a real ability to respond to customer demand. The manufacturers have an ability to trade off across states a little bit and balance out their overall compliance. But for our dealers, they will still have some segment of gasoline-powered cars delivered for their inventory, and then some EVs. And we'll, like I said, that rising percentage of EVs will get up to 100% by 2035.
Some people laugh at the idea that we'll have a grid that is capable of supplying the environmental need. So are you environmental guys talking to the electric guys about what pressure you're putting on the environment, meaning the electric environment, in order to be able to provide the juice that's necessary to comply with this goal?
Yeah, Dan, the Act on Climate creates kind of like this climate cabinet, and it's called the Executive Coordinating Council on Climate Change, or the EC4 we call it. And that includes all the state agencies that are involved with climate points. So it's DEM, it's the Office of Energy Resources, it's DOT, it's PUC, and all of these agencies talk about these policies and making sure that what one agency is doing isn't creating another problem for another agency. So we are talking to the energy folks. The PUC has opened a discussion about modernizing the grid, which is going to be super important to make all this happen.
Yeah, but grid modernization is not lickety split. In 2027, it used to be I'd look at age, when the highway was going to come in, it was like 2012, and then 2003 we're driving around going, oh, that's forever, and all of a sudden it's gone past us, and you're white beard and I'm a white beard, and we're getting older, and right? I mean, it's like 2027 is tomorrow in a lot of ways. I don't, from a layman, non-informed point of view, admittedly, I'm not very confident that this grid part is going to match the structure that you guys in every state have set up.
There's a lot of conversations going on about that right now, and there's a lot of work really looking at infrastructure related to electric vehicles and the whole grid.
How much confidence is expressed in those conversations from the other guys about whether or not this thing is doable?
I think they're pretty confident. They haven't raised any red flags or any signals to slow down at all with our policies.
What is that going to mean for the average consumer? I am naive to actually drove an electric car yesterday. By the way, 80 G's, brand new. Now I'm sure it was a little high end, but $80,000. Oh, okay, I did the math. Well, I spent about $250 a month in gas. There's still a gap in terms of if I want to finance that car. It's a lot more expensive than I want it to be. But anyway, I have to put a thing in my garage. I got to plug in. Is it going to, do I have to spend extra dough because the grid needs help?
Yeah, so when we talk about the transition to electric vehicles, it's more than just the advanced clean car regulations. Like you said, we really have to factor in grid modernization. The state is really investing in electric vehicle infrastructure. So we're investing millions of dollars right now in chargers. It's all over the state.
How many do we have in the state?
I don't know, but I do know that we meet a lot of the standard recommendations for so many chargers per population, per capita. So we have a pretty good grid now, and it's getting bigger.
I'm not oriented to it, so because I don't have that car. I guess if you buy the car, duh, you're going to be very informed as to where you can pull over. I'm seeing video right there of these charging stations, but they're not 2 minutes and go in and grab a coffee in the convenience store. They're what, half an hour, 40 minutes in order to be able to rejuice?
They can run anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour to get a full charge on a vehicle. Of course, if you're doing it at home, it's usually an overnight thing because it's lower voltage.
Right.
But for most
right, so
people,
that's a
that
higher
works.
voltage charge that I'm
Yes.
getting at the gas stations.
Yes.
At the gas stations. What are gas stations and convenience stores that have gas pumps going to look like over this roll from now to 35?
We've had discussions with the convenience store industry, and really what they're doing is they're transitioning to accommodate their customers. So they're installing chargers, and they're installing places where you can go inside and have a coffee, have Wi-Fi access, so that you're actually having a planned visit for about 15-20 minutes while your car charges. It's kind of like the Starbucks model, right? Where you go in, you have a coffee, read the paper, surf the web a little bit, and get ready for work. And with a lot of people working remotely now, they can probably get some work done while their car is charging outside.
For type A's?
Well, the other part...
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
as I'm trying to figure out what new car I'm going to buy, right, in a few years, wow. I got to park 20 minutes. Do you see me come barnstorming him to do this show today? I got to park 20 minutes of downtime to enjoy my Starbucks while, oh my God.
So the other part of the regs that we're doing, it's not just about delivering the EVs, but it's also EV performance standards. So for instance, the regs will require that EVs have a minimum range of 300 miles on a charge. So in Rhode Island, how much do you drive, right? A lot of short trips. An overnight charge to top off the tank might do it, where you can keep the car fully charged virtually all the time.
What's the comparable price at, when you're traveling for an electric gas pump versus a charge pump versus the gas price?
It depends. It's like gasoline, depending on where you are. It depends
variable
on
pricing, huh?
Yeah, it's variable pricing. But right now, it's cheaper to charge a car than it is to fill up a tank.
You're bullish on this whole plan? You feel good about it?
I am.
All right.
I'm in the market for an EV right now.
You too?
Myself, yes.
All right, now tell me what you're buying. We'll see how it works out. When we come back, that Exeter fire is a cause of concern. We'll have to see what the DEM's doing on that. And by the way, lifeguards needed. Stay with us.
When we had the red flag warnings is when we had that large fire in Exeter. So it's definitely a watch out situation for the fire community right now, being so recently that we just had large fires. Having this red flag warning again is putting us on a high alert. Absolutely.
Conversation with WPRI, that's Patrick Meekin, I'm sorry, from the DEM on the recent weather, reflecting on the Exeter situation a handful of weeks ago, which was somewhat harrowing for the regional fire response, which seemed to be outstanding in containing that Exeter fire. Still under investigation, so you can't tell me about sourcing here. But what is DEM doing to, well, make sure it doesn't happen again, if possible?
So I just want to echo, those are the biggest fires we've seen in 50 years in Rhode Island, and the local fire departments really came through. They did an awesome job.
Planting themselves in driveways, protecting homes. I mean, the response seemed to be phenomenal.
It was, and it was a complicated response. And there were many fire departments that had to coordinate together with the National Guard doing airdrops of water. That has to be very coordinated. It was a great,
yeah,
it was
but
a great
there's a theory
response.
that this could be a campfire, or even somebody camping and throwing a cigarette butt out, and kaboom, there you go. A lot of that property that is contiguous to where the fire was is DEM regulated, but it's not like you're policing the woods all day long, or are you, or can you?
Well, you can't. You have to take measures to really prevent the problem. And what we're facing is kind of a confluence of two factors. One is the fact that we had drought the last couple of years, and the other one was we had a very high percentage and a lot of damage from spongy moth. They used to be called gypsy moths, but they really, that combination of two things really...
eating it all away.
It ate a lot of the leaves, the foliage away. The drought really impacted the trees. They were already weakened. So we have a lot of dead wood out in the forest, and all of that is fuel.
Dead wood in a lot of places. You know, I like the bike path, in the Blackstone Valley bike path. I mean, his trees are down all over the place. Is that yours? Is that your responsibility or DOT's?
It is. DOT builds them, we maintain them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, listen, you got a lot of work to do. I'm
Yes,
not
we
saying
do.
that you pick up your own axe, but I'm telling you, you're, and you're going to tell me now it's resources and manpower, right?
Well, some of it. So we actually manage 68,000 acres of property in Rhode Island. It's a lot. And last year, when the voters passed the green bond that was on the ballot, there was money in there, $3 million to do forest management. So we're going to be putting that money to work. We've already started doing prescribed burns to get rid of some of this fuel in a controlled manner. But we'll be doing a lot of forestry work to really take down those hazardous trees, remove the fuel, and make sure the forests are healthy for the long term.
But what are you doing for the random people who are camping and hanging where they shouldn't be? Well,
we try to police those acreages. We issue red flag warnings quite a bit when the weather conditions will lead to high fire hazard. In terms of our campgrounds, we really kind of keep an eye on people and make sure they keep their fires contained.
It seems like the campground people are compliant.
Right.
It seems it's the traveling shows out there. And look, I mean, our homeless situation is a serious deal. The top-down pressure on the economy and real estate has a lot of people. We went through an encampment situation from the State House steps to God knows where they all were. This is an economic issue, all that kind of a thing. Are we thinking about that kind of not going to cure too fast situation where we've got to pay attention to people just freelancing out there and living and dropping tent where they want to drop it?
Yeah, that's constantly a challenge for us. Our staff are out in the management areas in particular, come across people that are doing kind of like this backwoods illegal camping, and we try to correct them. We try and get them back on track. But in a lot of ways, those are the responsible people. They know what they're doing. But there are other people that aren't experienced campers that are just looking for a place to crash or a place to have a nighttime party.
Do you
or
have
something
enough
like that.
resources to police all these acres?
No, but we partner with municipalities and they help us with that.
Elevated attention to it now, especially when we've got these weather conditions?
I think so. When you see the impacts of a 100-acre fire followed by a 700-acre fire, it's significant. It gets people's attention.
All right. We want to get your attention for the beach. It's the best job I ever had, including this one. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it coming up. I feel like getting the zinc oxide out and like grab my whistle, and best job I ever had. I didn't do the beaches, but I had some pretty serious lakes and ponds growing up in New Jersey, and seriously, I mean, the memories from being a lifeguard are incredible. For some reason, this young generation doesn't seem to dig it as much. You got some serious vacancies, and have had for a handful of years now.
Yeah,
right?
we're definitely hiring, and our beaches are unbelievable. Our ocean beaches, some of our parks, they're absolutely great swimming areas, and we want to recruit a full complement of lifeguards so people can enjoy the entire
What's
facility.
the rate of pay these days? Because it all comes down to that.
It's about $14 an hour.
Yeah, see,
around
that's
that
not
range.
competitive, right? I mean, you can. The idea is you can flip burgers, blah, blah, blah. And every industry is going through this because they're all looking at each other. And you go buy Chick-fil-A and it's $15 an hour. You know, at the same time, who doesn't want to be in the sun if you're a young kid? And I don't know. Seems to me that's not enough to incentivize, but I'm not running the show. You tell me.
Well, we worked with the governor's office and we put together an incentive program to draw more candidates into our lifeguard pool. They get a $500 sign-up bonus, and they get $500 additionally if they complete the summer. So that's something that Massachusetts did. We're trying to remain competitive regionally, but you're right. There's a lot of seasonal jobs out there, and not that many candidates.
How many vacancies do you have?
Right now, we're about a half complement, so we've hired about 75 lifeguards. We would love to get 100, 125.
How long is the uptime training? I remember my course when I was a lifeguard, I think it was 6 weeks.
It depends. If lifeguards come in and they're certified, they start right away.
Right.
If they have to go
You think
through
there's a lot of certified lifeguards just at home going like this, or do they have to get trained up?
Well, some of them have to get trained up, and we support that.
Are you offering a course right away for early applicants?
We have
here?
the surf test. That's what goes on.
The
it's
surf
not really
test.
a course, but more of a test to get that certification done.
All right, then check out the DEM. I'm sure the website's got all the information on that.
Absolutely.
Check out the DEM website. Tell your kids to get off their fannies and get out on the beach and save some lives. Director, thank you.
Thank you.
Good conversation. We'll be right back. Stay with us. You guys have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you next week.